This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, January 28th, 2020. Well, we're talking 2021. On this day, 50 years ago, Jim Plunkett was drafted by the New England Patriots, first overall from the University of Stanford. Amazing time, the 71 NFL draft. I'll talk more about that after a few quick words about Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett has won 2 Super Bowl titles with the Raiders. He won the Heisman. He was the first overall pick of the 71 NFL draft. He basically didn't do well in New England. Then the Niners signed him for a couple of years. He started to struggle, and then basically Plunkett was given away to Oakland. He was supposed to be the backup for the Raiders for many years, but basically he became the team starting quarterback for 2 seasons and all that. He's the only eligible quarterback with 2 Super Bowl wins as a starter not to be in the Hall of Fame. So basically, Plunkett was born to 2 New Mexican parents. Yeah, from New Mexico. The problem is that Plunkett's father actually was afflicted with progressive blindness, whereas his wife was actually completely blind. Alongside 3 kids. So basically, this was amazing that they had both his parents were kind of blind, and he had siblings. So anyway, yeah. So the family lived in relative poverty and would get state financial aid. Basically, Jim and his sisters worked hard to do things for themselves as they grew up. So yeah. The family had a bad financial situation. He didn't like the area he lived in. He didn't like having money for dates and couldn't bring friends to his house. He worked from an early age. All that. But by San Jose, he was doing quite well. He had a fibrating operation that actually weakened him during his freshman year at Stanford. Plunkett basically said he wanted to be quarterback, not defensive end. And basically, he never relinquished the senior spot. It ushered in an era of wide open passing pro style offenses in the Pac 8. Well, that's what the Pac 12 used to be called, Pac 8, when there was only 8 schools, and the Arizona schools didn't go in. So basically, Jim Plunkett was huge. In his senior year, he got Stanford to their first Rose Bowl in 18 years at that point. And in the 70 season, they shocked the Ohio State Buckeyes to win the Rose Bowl, with 18 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns added to his 2,700 yards in the air in his senior year. Plunkett was given the Heisman Trophy. He beat Joe Theismann and Archie Manning for that title. He was the first Latino to win the Heisman Trophy. So yeah. And then the New England Patriots basically picked him first overall. Well, they were called the Boston Patriots, but they changed their name in March. So Plunkett was the first player of Hispanic heritage to get the first overall pick. The Patriots didn't do so well, but Plunkett did very good for himself. Unfortunately, injuries and a shaking offensive line ruined him. And then the Pats decided to draft Steve Grogan, who would be with the team for 16 years. And thanks to new coach Chuck Fairbanks, the Patriots' offense became run-oriented. So basically, yeah. I don't think Steve Grogan played for... Yeah, Steve Grogan didn't play for anybody else. Then the Pats were set with Grogan at quarterback, so they decided to trade Plunkett to the Niners in exchange for Tom Owen, 2 first-round picks in 1976, and 2 picks in 76 and 77. I'm just going to take a look and see who the Pats took with that pick. The Pats took Tim Fox, a safety from Ohio State, with one of those picks, first-round picks, and I guess they traded away another pick, another one of the first-round picks. I think. Is that 2 first-round? Did they say 2 first-round picks? 2 first-round picks in 1976. But anyway, Plunkett did fine in 76, the 76 season. He led them to a 6-1 start before they faltered to 8-6. At that time, of course, there was 14 games in a season. The Irish released him after another poor season. Plunkett then joined Oakland and would be in a reserve capacity because of Ken the Snake Stabler still being there. However, the 1980 season would be his turnaround. 5 weeks in, his career took a turn when starting quarterback Dan Pastorini, who was with the Oilers at that time and then was traded to the Raiders for their starting quarterback, Ken Stabler. Everyone forgets Stabler played for the Houston Oilers. But anyway, Pastorini fractured his leg. Plunkett didn't do so well, throwing 5 interceptions. But the Raiders pinned their hopes on Plunkett instead of Mark Wilson, because Wilson didn't have the experience. But Plunkett guided Oakland to 9 wins in 11 games and a playoff berth as the wild card. And Plunkett got them to the Super Bowl, and they beat the Eagles 27-10. It wasn't all Plunkett in Super Bowl 15. The defense just took down Ron Jaworski. That 1980-81 Oakland team, the first team to get in as a wild card in the playoffs and to win the Super Bowl. Plunkett was named game MVP. He had this distinction of being the first minority to quarterback a team to a Super Bowl victory and the only Latino to be Super Bowl MVP. In addition to this, he became the second player to win the Heisman Trophy and Super Bowl MVP. The first one being Roger Staubach. Only 2 more after him, so Marcus Allen and Desmond Howard. The Raiders would move to Los Angeles after Al Davis raised a snit. He was made backup to Mark Wilson for the 83-84 season, but Plunkett assumed starting duties because Wilson got hurt and got the Raiders to the Super Bowl when they crushed a heavily favored Washington Redskins. I know, technically I'm not supposed to say a name, but screw that. 38-9. Plunkett did okay, but it was all Marcus Allen in that game for the longest Super Bowl run in history up to that point, I think. Yeah, the Skins won the title the previous year, and we're looking to repeat. Plunkett, unfortunately, didn't do much. He tried to lead the Raiders back in the 86-87 season, but the Raiders collapsed. He decided to retire during the 88 preseason as the 4th leading passer in Raiders history. And he has retired as the only NFL quarterback to win 2 Super Bowls with the same franchise in different cities. There's a lot of Hall of Fame debate about Plunkett. Although a lot of people said that, his poor career stats and his win-loss record has ruined him. Playoffs, he's 8-2 lifetime, but career-wise, he's at 500. He's thrown almost 200 interceptions in his career against only 164 touchdowns. So yeah, a lot of quarterback stats have changed dramatically in the 70s and 80s. That was when passing was opened up a bit more. So Plunkett is an icon, to be sure. Now, let's talk the 71 NFL draft, because I said that I would do that. Jim Plunkett was the #1 pick. New Orleans had the 2nd pick, and they picked Archie Manning from Ole Miss. So Archie Manning, who was one of the runners-up for the Heisman, was picked 2nd by the Saints. Houston picked 3rd and got Dan Pastorini, the quarterback from Santa Clara. Buffalo was 4th and got J.D. Hill from Arizona State as a wide receiver. The Jets picked 6th and got John Riggins from Kansas. Too bad he couldn't make it last, the Jets. Isaiah Robertson from got picked 10th by the Rams as a linebacker. These are huge players. Emil Wright, who was supposed to be this great wide receiver from Houston in the pass offense, went to Kansas City 16th, but he didn't do anything. Jack Tatum was drafted 19th by the Raiders in that draft, safety from Ohio State. The Rams drafted Jack Youngblood from Florida, defensive end, number 20. And the first round was just all that. The 71 NFL draft also had good second rounds. Jack Ham went to Pittsburgh. Dan Deerdorf to the Cardinals. Phil Villapiano to Oakland. Houston picked Lynn Dickey, the quarterback from Kansas State, in the third round, who would obviously go to Green Bay. That's how I remember him. Ken Anderson went to Cincinnati, 67th. A quarterback from Augustana College in Illinois. Wow. Lyle Alceda went fourth round to Denver. Joe Theismann went fourth round to Miami. Surprised that Joe Theismann dropped all the way down. Teams put quarterbacks. When I scanned this 71 draft, I saw Atlanta drafting a Duke quarterback by the name of Leo Hart. Dwight Light was drafted in the fourth round by Pittsburgh. Mel Gray was drafted by the Cardinals in the sixth round. Harold Carmichael, good wide receiver, was drafted seventh round by Philadelphia. Wow. Yeah, so a lot of people and all that. So yeah, time was of the essence. So anyway, that's all I've got about Jim Plunkett and the 71 NFL draft. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.